Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. This is the 2022 Honda Passport. And today we're going to try and answer the question, which is better? Is the Honda Passport better than the 2022 Ford Edge? And even though I don't have an Edge here with me, they didn't have one at Holmes Honda where I borrowed this Passport from to do a nose-to-nose comparison. We're still going to show some shots from another video I have with an Edge and see what we can do to answer the question that is ultimately the title of this video. So let's start with MSRP between the two. The Passport starts at $38,370 and goes up to as much as $45,930. Looking at kind of the same range for the most part, pretty close numbers with the Edge, $37,945 up to $46,485. One thing that most certainly does set the Passport apart is the fact that it was fully redesigned for the 2019 model year, and for 2022 it saw some changes to the front end. Those changes go from the A-pillar, this area right here, forward, and were meant to give the Passport a more aggressive styling, a little bit more of a boxy look, if you will. The Passport, being redesigned somewhat recently, is a little bit ahead of the Edge in that the Edge has not received any kind of a redesign or refresh since the 2015 model year. For 2022, besides the changes we've talked about here on the front end, Honda also introduced the Trail Sport variant for the Passport as well as the Pilot, giving both a more aggressive look and more capabilities off-road than they would have otherwise. And while you don't necessarily have something to compare apples to apples, so to speak, with the Edge does offer the high-performance ST trim level. We'll talk a little bit more about horsepower that you get with that model in just a little bit when we pop the hood on this one. Tell Honda down in the comments if you would like to see a high-performance version in the future with the Passport. I don't know that we're going to see that because the focus is more on hybrid as opposed to high performance, but if enough of you start asking about that, you never know what might happen. Under the hood of the Passport, there is one engine option, but it's not a bad option. The 3.5-liter, 280 horsepower V6. The torque numbers come in at 262. It's mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. And depending on all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, your gas numbers will vary a little bit for MPGs. In this case, it's 19 miles per gallon city, 24 out on the highway, or with front-wheel drive, this is an all-wheel drive model, by the way, with front-wheel drive, it's 20 and 25, so basically no difference. And something that I know a lot of car reviewers don't mention in their videos, I'm going to tell you about both models here as far as this goes. The Passport has a 19.5 gallon gas tank. And moving on to the Edge, there are two engine options. The 2-liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder, it makes 250 horsepower and 280 pounds-feet of torque. MPGs come in at 21 city and 28 out on the highway. The 2.7-liter EcoBoost is what you'll find in the ST that I mentioned earlier, the high-performance version of the Edge, 335 horsepower and 380 pounds-feet of torque. MPGs come in at 19 city and 25 highway, and it has an 8-speed automatic transmission. And the gas tank size, well, you have one less gallon. It's an 18.5 compared to the 19.5 that we have right here. And one thing you won't find on the Edge that you will find on the Passport is the instructional sticker here on the rear tailgate. This is the hands-free version on this Passport. It actually says something that I think is rather funny. It tells you to remove it after reading it, almost like it's a Mission Impossible sort of thing. You know, if I was to peel that off, would there be some yellow smoke billowing into the air? Well, I don't really know. But as I open the rear cargo area here, let's talk about the comparison between cargo capacity between the two vehicles we're comparing today. When it comes to the Edge, you're looking at 39.2 up to 73.4 cubic feet. With the Passport, it ranges between 50.5 up to 100.7 and 100.8 cubic feet. Obviously, you're going to lower the rear seats on both models to maximize your cargo capacity. Now, before we move on to towing, I do want to show you something very interesting. I did show you the undercarriage shot of this Passport earlier, and you might have noticed there's no spare tire under there. Where exactly is that? I had somebody who commented recently about me showing the location of spare tires on these vehicles and said a lot of other people who review cars here on YouTube don't do that. So let me show you how to gain access to your spare tire if you plan to buy a 2022 or 2023 Passport. So what we're going to do here is we're going to bring the floor up, and this floor actually comes all the way up, and you can actually hang that from the ceiling. There's a hook to do that on the underside of the floor itself. And there is where your spare tire is located. Now, you don't have to take this tray out to get to your spare tire, but personally, I think it is a little bit easier. You can see how I did that. It's very easy. There's just a couple of bolts here, really kind of just releases. I wouldn't really call them bolts, but they're right there. This thing doesn't weigh even 5 pounds. So it's very easy to get out and very easy to gain access to where your spare tire is located. So what about the big difference that I mentioned? There isn't necessarily a massive difference in cargo capacity, although the Passport definitely has more. But the area where you will find the biggest difference when it comes to towing, that's where it is. You're looking at 3,500 to 5,000 pounds when properly equipped with the Passport. With the Edge, you're looking at 1,500 to a max of 3,500 pounds when properly equipped. And when it comes to the interior, as far as the front seat goes and technology goes, I'm going to turn the fan speed down. You'll find that both are equipped with easy to use infotainment screens, clear and easy to see rear view cameras, and everything is simple to use and find basically. Wireless charging for both. You've got multiple USB connections and 12-volt connections in both models. Something I really like here, because it's very important, is the fact that you have heated and ventilated seats. I know on the test drive here shortly, when I drive back to the dealership, those ventilated seats will be on high, because even though it's cooler than it has been, it's still very warm here in Northwest Louisiana. And both vehicles basically have the same style of shocks and suspension, so the ride quality is pretty equal on both. It's good on both, on pretty much all road surfaces. And for me to say that, living here in Northwest Louisiana, that is saying a lot, because, well, I think Louisiana has set a goal to be known for terrible roads. Speaking of that, why don't we get out on the road for a quick test drive? So what is the driving experience like? Well, obviously both models have multiple driving modes. Like I said, while there is 280 horsepower under the hood here with this Passport, and it does have a sport driving mode among others, without getting tongue twisted. But when you drop the hammer, it gets down the road just fine. It goes up to speed as you need it to. It's not a big deal. Be it that I don't have a full load of passengers or cargo or anything like that, still, everything goes well here. Smooth ride quality, like I said earlier in the video. The ride quality between the two is pretty much the same, because they have the same type of shocks, the same type of suspension, and so that pretty much gives an equal ride quality. That means that area is very well covered, that's for sure. But when it comes down to overall acceleration, I think that you would definitely find, if you get the Edge ST, that you would definitely have, well, a little bit more fun. But it is what it is. You'd also probably use more gas, having more fun with that 2.7 liter EcoBoost. Like I said, it'd be interesting to see if Honda ever came out with a high-performance version of the Passport, but for those who want to buy the Passport, I don't think they're so concerned about a high-performance version, although if that was offered, it would be very interesting to see. But overall, everything here is very easy to access, very easy to use, or if it's the first time you have ever had an infotainment screen and all of the different safety features here, well, it's very easy to learn, whether it's here with the Passport. It's also equally as easy to learn with the Edge. And honestly, to be honest with you, if I had to give the Edge to one model or the other, I would have to give it here to the Passport. I think it just seems to be a little bit more user-friendly, but not by a lot. you know, I don't have a Tom score or anything like that because I'm not trying to imitate anybody else or be like anybody else here on YouTube, even though I am often told that I sound like that person. You know, I don't talk with my hands as much and all that stuff. I know, Tom, get your hands back on the steering wheel. But I don't have the Tom score to give you, but I would say maybe 1 or 2 points different. Both very easy to use, easy to learn, have pretty much the same features: Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, very nice backup cameras, and built-in navigation, which you definitely have here, something that I know a lot of you like to have in your vehicles. So tell me down in the comments section, what do you think? Which is better, the Honda Passport or the Ford Edge? Tell me down in the comments and tell me why. Gotta say a special thanks to my friends at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Passport for the day, and a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out another of the videos that's on the screen right over here, and I'll see you there.